Hi, the question will appear on your screen in few seconds. Please pause this video to solve the question on your own, and once you are done, resume the video to check the solution. Here is the question. Let's start with passage analysis. Shiva College, so we are talking about a specific college, offers several online courses via remote computer connection. So, this particular college offers multiple online courses and it offers these online courses via remote computer connection. All right. In addition to traditional classroom based courses. So, the classroom based courses have been said to be the traditional ones, that is, the ones that have always been there, and the online courses are the new edition. So, these are the traditional ones that were there from the starting, and to this, these online courses have been added. A study of student performance at Shiver. So, now we are talking about a study and the study was about student performance at this college found that, so we are going to read the observation of this particular study. Overall, so the observation is overall, it can be broken into different categories and sub more inferences can be drawn, but overall, at an overall level, this is the observation. The average student grade, so take a note of the word average, we are talking about the average student grade. So the observation is about average student grade for online courses matched that for classroom based courses. So if this is the classroom based course and this is the online course, then we know that if average student performance, average student grade is 5 here, it is 5 here. Now, since we are talking about average, take a note of this fact that if there are, let's say, 5 values, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If these are 5 different values, then the average will lie somewhere in middle. It can be closer to the lowest value, it can be closer to the highest value, but it will be between this lowest and the highest value. So whenever you are given anything about average, any information about average, you do not get to know anything about the lowest and the highest values. You just know that this is the average value given to you. So average here is 5, means that the average value definitely is 5, but the lowest value and the highest value for both the courses can be very different. So, with this in mind, let's proceed. In this calculation of average grade, so we are now talking about how this calculation was done, something about this calculation of average grade that we are discussing. Course withdrawals were weighted as equivalent to course failure. So, course withdrawal, that is a student who discontinues a course. So, course withdrawal, it was considered equivalent as course failure. So, if course failure was graded as 0, then course withdrawal was also graded as 0. All right, this is something that we got to know, that in this calculation, course withdrawal as well as course failure were considered to be equivalent. And the rate of withdrawal was much lower for students enrolled in classroom based courses than for students enrolled in online courses. So now we talk about the rate of withdrawal. So if we write it down here, rate of withdrawal, so we know that this rate was lower for students enrolled in classroom based courses. So if it was 20% here, it was 40% here. This is what the passage tells us. Now let's understand this better. What inferences can we draw from it? So let's say each course had 5 students enrolled. I am considering same number for simplicity. This number can actually be different. We do not have any idea about the actual number of students enrolled, which was it was higher in which course or was it equal. We don't know that, but for understanding, we are considering this to be the same. For example, A, B, C, D, E were 5 students who enrolled in classroom-based courses, and P, Q, R, S, T enrolled in online courses. So rate of withdrawal is 20%, which means 20% of 5 is 1. So one student withdrew. Let's say A did not continue with the course, with the classroom course. And in case of online, 40% of 5 is 2, which means that 2 students withdrew. So let's say PQ withdrew from the course, and let's consider that they were assigned 0 grade. Now, what does that mean? So if you look at the two averages and let's compare them side by side, let's say these are the values for A, B, C, D, E. These, they have some value because A withdrew, we know that most likely course failure is assigned the lowest value. We are assigning it 0 here. So we are making it, putting A on the lower end. And for online courses, if we draw a similar number line, it would be something like P and Q, because both withdrew. So 0 for both, P, Q, R, S, T. Now, what do we know about average? We discussed that average will lie between A and E. So maybe somewhere here, let's say, this 5, let's say, lies here. This is the actual average for all 5. And for PQRST, again, it is 5. So let's say it lies somewhere here. Now, consider, we know that A is 0 and P and Q is 0, right? Which means that for in order for them to have equal averages, right? They have average as 5 here. When is that possible? That is possible when the average of R, S, and T is greater than the average of B, C, D, and E. That is, let's say RST, the average is maybe 8, and for B, C, D, and E, the average is maybe 6. So, because of this 6 plus 0, the overall average came to 5. Because of this 8 and 2 zeros, a higher value and a lower value, the average came to 5. So make it very clear that the average of these remaining values, B, C, D, and E, would be less than the average of R, S, and T. Then only the overall average would match here. This 5 and 5 would match. So this is a general understanding of averages, and it is very useful in CR questions also. So you can understand it with the help of an example also. We can assign some values here. Let's say A, B, C, D, and E. And we can create like a table kind of thing here. A, we know, got 0 as per the example that we have taken. A got 0. B, let's say, got 4. C got 5. D got 5. E got 10. So how much it would be? It would be 24. Let's make it 6. So this would be 25 and the average would be 5 here, right? For P, Q, R, S, T, we know P and Q got 0. Let's say R got 9, S got 8, T got 8. Total is 25 divided by 5. Again, the average is 5, right? Now, if you calculate the average of just these 4 values here, eliminating A, it would be 24, 25 out of 4. And if you calculate the average of remaining values here, it would be 25 out of 25 divided by 3. Now, definitely 25 divided by 3 is greater than 25 divided by 4. So you can see that the average of these values would be greater than average of these remaining values. So it is a very important understanding about averages. And again, you can take more examples to understand it. The inferences will be the same. The results that you get will be the same for any other values that you consider here. But what inference can you draw from this? That the average of remaining online students, that like RST here, average of students who completed their course. So we have removed the cases of withdrawal. So who completed their course, that average score of students. Average score of students who completed their course is greater for online courses than for classroom courses. That is the inference that we can draw here. So with this understanding, let's move to update our bridge table. Now, if your understanding of the passage logic was complete and correct, mark a tick here. If you missed anything, if you did not draw the inference that we drew, if you did not notice the word averages, or if you did not understand averages properly here, what does the word average means, how does it affect, or you missed any other thing, mark a cross here and write down what exactly did you miss. This is your root cause, the root cause why you could not understand the passage, and this will help you understand what should be the corrective action. Now, let's understand what the correct choice should convey. The question statement is that if the statements above are true, that is, if the passage is considered to be true, which of the following must also be true of Cheever College? So we have to find an inference, and an inference about Cheever College. So an inference is something that is definitely true as per the passage. So the correct choice will convey something that is definitely true as per the passage. There should be no doubt about it. So we will be evaluating choices one by one and we will see which one of them is definitely true. That will be our correct choice. So let's update our bridge table for this. If you understood that this is what the correct answer choice needs to convey, which is most likely the case that you did, so mark a tick here. However, if you skipped the step or you did not understand it, mark a cross here and write down the explanation. Choice A. Among students who did not withdraw. So we are talking about students who completed their courses. Among these students, students enrolled in online courses got higher grades on average. So we are still talking about average grades. And the choice is saying that average grades for students enrolled in online courses among these students, so the online ones got higher grades than students enrolled in classroom based courses. Now, is this something that we discussed while drawing inferences? The answer is yes. So, here, while drawing inferences, while understanding the passage, we saw that the average score of students who completed their course, if we talk about the average score of students who completed their course, then the average score for online students is more than the average score or grade for the students enrolled in classroom classes. This is classroom courses. This is what we inferred from all this discussion. And that is why choice A, so we have understood the meaning of choice A. We can say that yes, choice A is a correct inference because it is something that is definitely true if the passage given to us is true. Now, if you rejected choice A, it means you either did not understand choice A properly. One reason can be you did not understand the passage. This is one possible reason. The second thing is you do not know what inferences exactly are. The third reason is you did not understand choice A, and that is why you were not able to understand with what it is saying, what it is not saying, and that's why you rejected it. So you have to question yourself that what made you reject this choice and write down that reason here. This is your root cause for rejecting the correct answer choice, and this will help you understand what are the corrective actions that you need to take. Choice B, the number of students enrolled per course at the start of the school term. So we are talking about how many students enrolled per course at the start of the school term is much higher on average for the online courses than for classroom based courses. So this choice is trying to say that the number of students enrolled per course at the beginning of the course is, and we are talking about the average number for all online versus all classroom based courses. So for online courses, this number is higher than classroom based course. So this is what the choice is saying. This is the meaning of this choice. Now, do we have this information from the passage? Does the passage tell us that more students enrolled in online courses on average than in classroom courses? The answer is no. Even in the example that we considered during passage analysis, I mentioned that this number need not be same. I am assuming it to be the same in this example for simplicity, but we do not know actually how many students enrolled in each of these courses, which one was higher, which one was lower, was it the same? We do not have any idea about that. And that is why this is not something that is definitely true as per the passage, and that is why it cannot be a correct inference. Now, if you selected choice B, let's come back to the bridge table. Again, either your passage understanding was not correct, or you do not know what inferences are, or you did not understand what choice B is saying, or you did not match this, you did not gauge this alignment, you did not notice that choice B is not saying what the correct answer choice needs to convey, does not have that characteristic, and you faltered here. So please analyze your thought process and update the bridge table. Mention the exact reason where you faltered in the required row. So if you did not understand meaning of choice B, this is where it goes. If you did not gauge the alignment, this is where it goes, or these can be the root causes. Choice C, there are no students, that is, zero such students, who take both an online and a classroom based course in the same school term. So, in the same school term, there is no student who is taking online as well as classroom based course. Now, does the passage tell us anything about this kind of situation or this kind of restriction, that there is no such student who takes online as well as classroom based course in the same school term? No, the passage does not tell us anything about it. There may be some student, Maybe yes, maybe no. And that is why this choice is not definitely true as per the passage. And that is why it is incorrect. It is not a correct inference. Now, again, if you selected this choice, you need to go back to your bridge table and identify the root cause. It can be again this, meaning of choice C, gauging the alignment, anything. Choice D, among Cheever College students with best grades. So, we are talking about students with best grades. Among these students, a significant majority take online rather than classroom based courses. So, if the best grade is, let's say, 10, then 50% or maybe 60% of these students take online courses. And since we are talking about significant majority, so maybe it can be even more than that. Let's say 70% take online or 80% take online. That is what the choice is saying. We are only talking about students who have the best grades. Now, we do not have information about the best grades. When we were discussing about averages, I mentioned that the average value does not give us any information about the minimum and the maximum values. We know that the average is same for both types of courses. We know the average is same, but what is the minimum, what is the maximum, we do not know. The example that we considered, in that example, we saw that this student got 10. So, as per this example, this is the best grade, right? And this is for classroom student. In online, nobody got 10. And therefore, even in this example, this choice fails. Now, this scenario is possible. We cannot be just sure about it. It is not something that is definitely going to happen. And in how can this be possible? So, let me give you another example for clarity. Let's say we have this distribution. A is 0, and let's say E has 8, and this one has 7, this one has 6, this one has 4. So again, it will be 25 by 4. And here we can have P, Q, R, S, T. So this is 0, 0. Now, in this case, two of them can have 8, one can have 9. So again, this will be 25 by 5. In this situation, you can see the best grade is 9, and the online students, one out of the online students has it. So the proportion is higher there. But in this example, the classroom student has it. So this is something that is not definitely true. And that is why this choice is an incorrect inference. If most likely, if you selected this choice, it is because you do not understand this property of averages, that if you have the information about average value, it is without additional information, you cannot infer anything about minimum and maximum values. Or you took this kind of example, and just based on this example, you made an inference. So whenever you are drawing inferences, it is important to understand. And basically, you are drawing inferences based on an example. Just make sure that the inference is not specific to that example. It is generic. It should be applicable to every example. That is why the numbers that you consider, you have to give a thought to those numbers. And what will happen if I change these numbers? And that is something that you can do only in easy questions. If you develop that understanding in easy questions, if you do all those hidden trials in easy questions, you will have a solid understanding when you are attempting medium and hard questions, and you will not have to spend that much time there. So this is a learning from choice D. Now again, go back to your bridge table. If you selected choice D, go back to your bridge table and update where did you make a mistake. Was it the passage logic? Was it identifying what the correct answer choice needs to convey? Was it understanding the meaning of choice D? Or was it, like I said, that in case you took a different example or your understanding of average was not correct, in that case you were not able to gauge the alignment. Choice E, courses offered online, so we are now talking about online courses, tend to deal with subject matter that is less challenging than that of classroom based courses. So this choice is comparing the this aspect, that how much challenging subject matter is there. If, let's say, if we rate it on a scale, let's say subjects X, Y, Z, this is most challenging and this is least challenging. So choice E is saying that the online courses, they deal with these kinds of subjects that are, these deal with these kinds of subjects that are less challenging. The classroom ones are more challenging. You can take example of 4 subjects here. So the classroom ones are most challenging. Now, does the passage tell us anything that can help us infer that the online courses, the subjects that are discussed in online courses are less challenging compared to classroom classes subjects? No. So that is why this is something that is not definitely true, and that is why choice E is incorrect. Now, if you selected choice E, then probably you do not know what inference is. You were not aligning this choice with what the correct answer choice needs to convey. And that is where you fall. That is the most probable reason. So please update your bridge table for choice E. So we are done with this question now, and you have your updated bridge table that tells you what kind of mistakes you made in this question. Hope you will be able to take the corrective actions for these mistakes and not repeat these mistakes in the other questions. If you need any help deciding the corrective actions, do let us know.